Yo, how it's been going, guys? Otaku man here, and yeah, I'm back with a Deku what if. And now it's not a what if, it's a fucking story, and there is how to put it. The story is literally on the story is link on the description if you like. If you want to read the story itself, the story is called My Hero Academia: A Hero's Will. Now, the author name is Manio0101. If you want, you can see his story, but I'm gonna read it. I don't know how many, or how many time it's gonna take, but so yeah, let's begin. Chapter 1: A Hero's Will. The world changed with the appearance of superhumans, humans born with mutation. They gave them extraordinary powers, otherwise known as quirks. No one knows how it happened. There were many theories, but nothing connected was discovered. Not knowing what to do with their power, being ostracized without them, being being ostracized by those without them. People began to resort to violence and crime. Through came an era of professional heroes who were trained to protect the weak from those villains. I am Izuku Midori, a professional hero, and this is my story how I rose to the number one with the power of my will. Boku no Hero Academia. The world is cruel and unfair. Not everybody is born with power to boast about, and in my opinion, it was wrong to oppose the weak. That's what I was trying to say back then. When I saw my childhood friend Bakugo Katsuki bullying a child, it was really cruel to do this, Kachan. I told him with my eyes tearing up, my body trembling with fear of being beaten by Katsuki. I know I was weak, but I couldn't stand aside and watch my friend bully some kid. I won't let you continue without doing anything. Katsuki, who used to be my childhood friend, walked up to me with his two goons behind him, using his cork between his hand and insert fear in me. What are you gonna do? Do you even have a cork? You are a good for nothing Deku. That's right. My cork hadn't appeared that time. I think I should be somewhat thankful to him. He pushed me far enough for my cork to appear right when his flaming palm was about to hit my face. All I could was think of being preventing the kid behind me from being harmed. I felt a strange power well up inside me as I yelled to Katsuki to stop. Then it happened. At times it had time as if time had stopped. The world had lost all its color and turned grey like a wave. The power rushed outward and knocked out everyone. With Katsuki stumbling away from me, his leg trembling and his eyes wide filled with fear. Strangely enough, the kid behind me wasn't affected. We took that chance to get away. That was 10 years ago. After that, Katsuki maintained his distance from me, and we drifted apart. Our parents tried to maintain the relationship, but they failed doing so. I hated him for his continuance of bullying of the weaker kid, and intervened whenever I could. As for my quirk, it took me a whole year to figure out what was it and how it worked. Willpower. That's what I named it after much discussing with my mom and not naming it as as super might or well all might power. Yeah, it's embarrassing now to think about it. No, nevertheless, basically my quirk opened the boom. What was that? I mumbled after the loud bang distracted me from my recollection. Rushing over toward the source of the sound, I saw a hero who I defined as Kami would, fighting a thief with some kind of gigantification quirk while Jet Arm provided support. Right, when Kamui was about to use his famous move, a giant blue came rushing toward the thief and landed a kick on his chin, knocking the guy out. A new hero, or should I say heroine? Huh. She has a gigantification quirk too, but her moves are very destructive. A hero should only save people, but also keep the character damage as low as possible. I shook my head and walked away as I was getting too late for school. Boku no Hero Academia. I will now distribute the career application documents, but hey, everyone has the same ambition, right? You all want to be heroes. The teacher carelessly threw away the documents as the rest of the class cheered. Heroes. The word has a new meaning now. How narrow minded people could be. Everyone would be a hero in a way or another. It was about perspective, but in these days, the true meaning of the word hero has been reduced to the fame and money. Even bullies could not believe heroes if they had a strong quirk. Take Endeavor for example. The man is so obsessed with being number one, he forgot what being a hero meant. Speaking of bullies, hey teach. Kaski began bagged at his desk and product a small vase from his cork. Don't leave me with these extras. Kaski boasted about his cork and insult the rest of the class by saying they had weak and mediocre corks. The teacher revealed Katsuki decided to enter UA High, the best hero training school in Japan, to put more weight on his boasting. Katsuki admitted snoring, the highest in the mock exam test. I obviously had no interest in hearing his rant. UA High, that was a school that I was too aiming for, and must I am matter for many heroes. All Might being one of them. I had been training from that day. I understood my quirk, had a full confidence that I would be able to enter the hero course without any hitch. The teacher then recalled me too wanting to enter UA, making everybody go quiet. It was an unknown fact that I and Katsuki never get along. Katsuki, for his own good, kept quiet and just coughed. The class continued, and the school soon was over. 10 months more. Only 10 months more. That was all my mind. Suddenly, I sensed someone creeping into the roof and dark tunnel. I was walking through a large-sized invisibility cloak. The slimy villain had it extended his tendril to grab me, but I was faster, quicker, quickly dodging him. I activated my quirk, and my arm and leg turned metallic black. This was the ability granted by my quirk. I called it will or argument. I greatly enhanced my combat ability, strength, and endurance. Observing every tendril of the slime villain, I effortlessly dodged them. And to get closer, recalling his face, I rammed my fist into his head and sending him flying at the wall. The villain was clearly surprised as I was able to touch him and do physical damage to him. Yes, this was fucking hockey. This was all because of my quirk. It allowed me to manifest my willpower into reality. I could even grab water if it was a soil, and it's pretty much like hockey, you can see. If it was soil and it could perceive everything around me with my eye closed. The best part is I was able to force my will upon other. Yep, is hockey, intimidating them upon into the point where it fainted. I focused my willpower and sent a blast of conqueror will at the villain. Suffice to say, being coward as he was, the slime I rolled back as he fainted right when I was about to put him into a bottle. I sensed someone rushing toward my location, someone who had no chance of beating still. Someone who had no chance to beating still, getting ready for battle. I took a strange, only to get stupefied when I saw the person was. It was All Might. Villain, you won't. But he stopped when he saw a slime guy already down. With his even so high moral and joyful attitude, he grabbed my shoulder and said, "Young boy, you're able to apprehend the villain by yourself. You must be really good with coke." To be honest, I was a bit overwhelmed, so it was not every day you meet your idol. Yeah, it wasn't much. He kept complimenting me and reminding me not to use use my cork in public. Much to his amusement, my embarrassment, he even signed my hero analysis notebook where I had drawn his sketch. After that, I offered him help in putting the slime in the bottle, continued toward my home. Meeting my idol motivated me to become professional hero like nothing else. From the next day onward, ex- I literally worked until I passed out on improving my quirk, and by time of 10 months were over, I reached the new level of strength that made my former self look like a rat in front of a lion. Yeah, this is pretty much hacky, by the way. I don't even know what kind of story it is. I'm reading it for the first time. So I decided I'm gonna read this story with my viewers, if I have any viewers then. Standing in front of the gate of UA High, I felt a bit of little emotional. 10 long years for training and pushing myself beyond what I could handle. I was I was finally just one step away from entering the world of professional heroes. Taking a deep breath, I took a step forward. I immediately sensed Kasky approaching the gates behind me and rudely nudged my shoulder without sparing a glance. He literally nudged me forward and scowling at everyone in his path, shaking my head at his shenanigans. I quietly made my way into the hall, only to be seated next to him. We didn't talk to each other at all, but I could feel him glaring at me for all the time we were there. A tall boy with specs interrupted present Mike, who were giving giving instruction about the practical test. It seems the boy was quite impatient. Maybe the nerves were getting to him. My Hero Academia, or Boku no Hero Academia. It was a good thing I and Katsuki were in a different testing area. I didn't want to deal with him during the test. I could see those around me doing everything to keep themselves calm, taking deep breath. I closed my eyes and focused on my quirk and start. I heard Peasant Mike speak and I immediately activated my argument ability on my legs before running toward the simulation area. I guess the other was started by the sudden command given by the Peasant Mike just told them to their beginning. No counter in the real battle. At a two-pointer came out of an alley and pointed a weapon at me, lunging it, and I landed spinning kick at his head, making it explode as my leg continued crushing it like a soda. Those thing really had weak armor. Finishing it off, I resumed running and took more targets. I kept snoring more point. By the time President Mike yelled, 2 minutes left. I already scored around 85 points. That's when those that observe decide to add some spice into the otherwise simple exam. A 0 pointer suddenly appeared from a building. The destruction it caused was immense. I shrugged, thinking about the fatalities it could have caused if this was a real life situation. With all the rubber falling down, everyone around me began to run away as it did not give them any point. How very heroic. There was some hero aspiring near the building. The 0 pointer appeared, but no one bat an eye. I immediately ran forward and looked for anyone who needed help. Con- I immediately ran forward and looked for anyone who needed help. I sensed someone fall on the ground and quickly rushed toward them. A girl was trapped into the stab of concrete. I quickly grabbed the stab and yanked it away, freeing the girl's ankles. Are you okay? Can you run on your own? I asked urgently. The 0 pointer was closing toward us. I tried to find anyone else trapped in the nearby my will observation. But I didn't find anyone else. The girl finally shook her head. I think my ankle is broken. I grunted as I picked her up in my arm. Running as fast as I could, we managed to get out of the 0 pointer range. That when the protector yelled time up, I saw Recover coming toward us as she distributed gummy bears to everyone. As she asked me if I was injured and anywhere, which I said no. With my argument, I was able to crush the boards like a paper. And she healed the girl who I saved. I decided to leave and tell my mother about my test. It took 7 days for the result of the entrance test to arrive. The waiting was getting on my nerves, and I knew I did well. In the test, it was still unsettling. While sitting in the table, I ate listlessly. I didn't have the mood to be energetic suddenly. The doorbell rang, and my mom was rushing toward me. Izuku, it's here. Feeling revealed, I was alone with my mom. Opened the letter, only for a holographic device to drop from inside, and when I activated it, it started to see my idol appearing. Ha ha ha. Young Medulla, you scored excellently in the written exam. As for the practical exam, you scored 85 villain point, which is the highest score in a practical exam. Congratulations, young Medulla. You're welcome to your hero academia. As I hugged my mom, as we cried, I finally got accepted, one step close to achieving my dream. Boku no Hero Academia. I wore my new school uniform, excited being one step close to being professional hero. Just as I was about to reach for the doorknob, my mom called out for me. Izuku, did you get your phone? Yes. Handkerchief? Yes. Water bottle? Yes. She smiled and looked at me in her eye full of love. I'm proud of you, Izu. You really are amazing. I was so lucky to have a mother like her. She had been there for me through thin thick or thin. She never let me feel the absence of my father, who, even though working overseas and his family could live fulfilling his life, even though he rarely visited us, I was happy he was there for us. I grabbed mom into a hug and pinched him on her cheek. You're an amazing one, mom. Love you. Bye. As I stood before class 1A door, I wondered how my classmate would be. In all excitement, I forgot about something more precise, someone, and I reminded of him when I entered the classroom. Bakugo Katsuki, the bully of my school, and one person I wanted to see for the rest of my life. Please remove your leg. It's disrespectful to disrespectful to your fellow student and the people who made this table. As said the blue hair boy, almost yelling. Katsuki smirked. And why would I do that? Who the heck are you anyway? Hmm. What middle school are you from? The boy adjusted his glasses and replied, My name is Ida Tenya. I am from Somia High. Katsuki scoffed. Somia, huh? You are a shitty elite then. The boy looked at scandalized as if he didn't know what were any better. I had thought him being a second-rate actor. You must not use such language. Too much my displeasure, the boy attention diverted toward me. It's nice to meet you. My name, I know I heard you earlier. I stopped him. I was taken back by what he walked up to me as maybe he watched too many movies having robots. The dude was really uptight. I must applaud you. He continued. You were able to see the hidden purpose that is behind. What hidden purpose were you talking about? Before he could continue, he was cut off by Golo. Hey, it's you, the curly hair guy. Turning around, I was able to recognize who the girl was. It seems that she managed to get accepted despite getting injured badly at the end of the exam. Ah, yes, seems like you managed to make it in exam too. How is your ankle? I know it would have been healed already, but it was a common constraint to ask. If she rubbed her back of her head and joyously replied, It's fine, thank you for saving back then. There's no need to thank me. I did what a hero would do. The girl rubbed her head. Yes, you are so awesome. You ran so fast and threw the stab away like nothing. You must be really strong. I'm Uraka Ochaku. By the way, nice to meet you. The girl now introduces Uraka Ochaku was really endless bundle of happiness. I could see her smile visibly getting wider as we talk. I sensed someone creeping out. If something right behind the door. As I was about to inquire, the person entered the classroom spoke. If you're here to make friends, then go somewhere else. We quickly settled down as it was clear that our homeroom teacher had arrived. It took you 8 seconds to settle down. He continued in a finally unmotivated manner. All I want you to get dressed in your PE uniform and be ready for your core assessment test. Okay, that was strange. Wasn't there usually an operation at the beginning of a school year? Perhaps many of my classmates shared the thought as Uraka asked our teacher the same question, which you're here to become heroes, and heroes don't have time for formalities. Now get moving. Well, that settles our call. Somewhat struggling, I got up from my seat and left the room at the rest of my classmates. It was time for the quick assessment or whatever he meant by that. Arriving at the school grounds, we made a group and waited for the instruction. You could have been doing three physical tests since junior high too, right? Physical fitness tests where you allowed to use your core. The country still uses average take from result from student not using their core. It's not rational for the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education to broadcasting. He then looked toward me. Metodia, you finished at the top of the practical exam, right? In junior high, what was your better result in softball through 133rd meter? Then he stayed quiet for a while. Then try doing it with your core. Kaizawa said as he threw a softball toward me, which I caught with ease. You can do whatever you want as long as you stay in the circle. Hurry up, give it all you got. I walked to the circle and began stretching to lose up my muscles. Then covered almost entirely of my body with argument, focusing on the muscle groups. That would help me to put maximum force in my throat. I could feel the wind blowing in my rhythm with the argument as it ripped around my body, stomping my left foot forward. I swung my right arm in the arc as I released the ball into the angle to promise maximum distance the ball could cover. Breaking the sound barrier, the ball flew blinding speed and kept going beyond what eyes could see. You know your own maximum first. Aizawa said as he had a measured the distance. This was the most rational way to form foundation of a hero. He then held up his phone and read 5,396 meter. Class 1A gasped in shock. Seriously, 45 5,400 meters. Seriously, said the blonde student with black electric volt mark in his hair. "Oh, what's this? It look fun," said the pink skinned girl with yellow horn and yellow eyes. Can we use our quirk as much as we want, as expected from a hero course? It look fun, huh? Aizawa said ominously. You have 3 years to become heroes. You will have that attitude like that the whole time. All right. Whoever comes last in the place in the eighth test will be just to have no potential and will be punished with explosion. Huh? Most of the student of classes shouted, punishing with explosion. If you get the last place, all in eight test. I thought as it could be believed I was hearing. I understood he was trying to do as long as one wasn't last in all the tests, he won't expel. So they just had to do better out of the 20 to stay. Oh, someone is send me photos. Interesting. We are free to do what we want in the circumstances on our Austrian welcoming to UA zero scores. Aizawa said as he moved his hair in the way showing his freaky smirk face. Uraka spoke, last place will be expelled, but isn't it the first day of school? No, even if it wasn't the first day, this is too unfair. Natural disaster, big accident, and selfish villain. Climate is worst time or place can be predicted. Japan is covered with all unfairness. Heroes are the ones who must bear the responsibility of balancing the unfairness. If you plan to go talk with your friends at the local McDonald's after school, then you sadly mistaken. For the next 3 years, UA will do all it can to give you one of the hardship after another. Go beyond plus ultra, overcome it with all you got. Ida Tenia took out his water bottle and began to drink. This is too serious, too hazing, however, this is the best of the best. There is no choice to do it. Oh, I can wait to blast everything in my path. Bakugo thought, alright, the demonstration is over. The real thing starts now. First test 50-meter dash. The first test was the 50-meter dash. Two students will line up and race each other at a time. A camera like computer machine will be read the measuring each student time. And the student get the fastest time will get the highest score. The first two students were lined up ready to race. Ida and a green haired girl with large eyes and features similar to a frog. Oh, on your mark, get set. Then the machine began to made the sound of a gunshot. So singling the beginning of the race, Ida blasted off. It was first one to finish the race. 3.04 seconds. The computer stated as Ida passed the finish line. Shortly after, the frog girl was able to cross the finish line. For 50 meters, I can only go up to third gears, Ida thought. Name Tenya Ida. Quick engine. He has engines in his clips which allow him to move at a super high speed. Well, he's like a flash in water. He's certainly in his element. However, speed isn't the only attribute is essential for a pro hero. It will be worth seeing what other do. Ribbit. Name Asui Suyu. Suyu Asui. Cork frog. Well, the name speak for itself. She can do whatever a frog can. Asui's 50-meter dash was the time recorded was 5 second 45 48 second, which is not too shabby. Lighting up my clothes and shoes. Name Oraraka Ochako, Cork Zero Gravity. Anything she touches will become weightless. And she will have the absolute control over. However, her drawbacks that if she overuses her quirk, she will puke. Yeah, she will puke rainbows. She will puke rainbows. The machine that made gunshot sound as Uraka and the blonde student with the tall tail began to race. The boy with the tail across the finish line in 5.49 seconds, while Uraka finished in 7.15 seconds. All right, that's faster. That faster when they thought that. Sorry. All right, that's faster than I was in my junior high. Huh? Everyone, you're not creative enough. I'll show you what it's like to be, like allow your like to be allowed to use your quirk. Name Ayo Ariyama. Yes, I don't wanna say his full name. It's hard to pronounce. Quirk naval laser. He can shoot laser from his belly button, but he is limited by amount of time he can shoot constantly. 5.51 second. If I can shoot for more than 1 second, I get a stomach ache. What the heck thought the various students of the class say, looking at the upper limit of your quirk and the room for growth in each result. It became clear that when you can do, when you what you can and can do. As I was said, as he looked at the last two. On your mark. I looked at my left and saw Klaus Katsky glaring at me, but he kept his mouth shut. Get set. What else I could have done other than use argument? Explosive speed, Katsky shouted as he ignited his hand with explosion that allowed him to boost. As he got in, has got 2.6 second. Kaski was shocked in midway through the race as he saw I had already passed the finish line before him. 4.30 seconds. He finished the race shortly after. Name Katsuki Bakugo, Quirk Explosion. He can create explosion from the palm of his hands. When I use both my hand, the force dispels. As he looked toward me in annoyance, he's gotten better than before. It looked like I'm going to have to bring my A game or he'll leave me in dust. There are seven more tests. Well, I can easily make it through, but how should I improve my argument? I need to be faster, or should I work get a massive burst of strength and shorter decoration? Was basically what I had in my mind. Activating my quirk took me 2 to 3 seconds. In real life battle, everyone would give me a chance, so that I knew. So I made up my mind to train and activate my quirk without needing it connected on it to make it more interesting. Test grip strength. B 630 kg. Whoa, you got a monster high score like Shoji. What do you two guys eat? Zero said to me as he and Minata looked a bit jealous. They all both looked pretty jealous. I looked over to see a student who got about six. Ah, fuck. I messed up this. Damn. Where the fuck did it go? Where the fuck? Ah, I lost my page. I looked over to see a student who also about 6.62 with his tentacle arm. His height was 6'2". With his tentacle arm, he gets scores of 540 kilograms. Test Test 3. Standing long jump. Like Husky and Ariyama, who went before me, I was able to completely jump over to the sand and land on the other side. Test 4. Repeats and sidestep. Just like before, I augmented my depth to perform. Sidestep got decent score. The last person who was Minat. I got the highest score since he used his purple balls to bounce himself back and forth with a little no effort. I saw it up at the display. I wasn't expecting that. Ball throw. I already did this exercise, so I was required to do it again. Kaski got the score of 705 meters. He grumbled as if Firmel not scoring more. He might have wanted to say something to me, but he refrained. Years of confrontation and losses on his part and regular exposure to my concours will might have influenced that. A tall girl with a pointer created a cannon that was able to fire a softball around 767 meters. Quite an interesting quirk she had. My inner nerd was practically begging me to ask her more about it. I know better than that. Then it was Uraka stunt. She used her zero gravity cork ball and threw as it kept floating until it would become a twinkling stars in the sky. It went into the space. Others showed the phone and said, "Infinity? That's amazing. She got infinity. Well, I guess she got me beat in the test," I said, as I saw drop and chuckle. The rest of the tests were easy and really straightforward. 15 minutes later, we all gathered around to check and total score. Suffice to say, I scored the highest, followed by the creation girl, whose name was Yairuzu Momo. The third boy name was Todoroki Shoto. Todoroki, that reminded me of the very selfish and unpleasant hero that was Endeavor's son, but he used ice, not fire. The boy had a half red, and while half was white. Perhaps he has a dual quirk. Kaski was fourth, as he looked downright pissed. I hid a smirk as I knew his pride was hurt. He got slowed by three other people on the time banging me. The grave kid Minato Miri was last, as he soon went down on his knees and began weeping. Anyway, there won't be any explosion. It was just a rational decision. What? Of course, it was a lie, the girl with pointer said. I'm surprised no one saw it through it. Well, I had no mind correcting her. I would have expelled it if someone there were in all interest. With that, we are done here. There was handouts with Calligram search in the classroom. So we had to get back to look over them. Sorry. Aizawa then walked away without sparing anyone a glance. Just as I was about to leave and I sensed someone watching us. More specifically me. I wanted to inquire but decided not to as I got ready for the next class. The next day, at 1 minute, I wanna do something. I wanna stop here for a moment, nothing else. I will stop here for a moment. I wanna see something. I wanna see the fucking ship. Really, that's the reason is. Okay, okay, my work is done. I was just seeing something that really bumming me for a while. It seems it's good, okay. The next day at school was very normal. We had normal classes such as English, mathematics. Just as we were waiting for the next class, I felt All Might rushing toward us our classroom. So it was time for the first class. His first class. I was excited to say at least. As he bursting into the classroom, we began to talking excitedly among each other. I mean, who wouldn't be? It was All Might. As he stood in front of the class while making a interesting pose, All Might began. Fundamental hero studies for this class will begin building up your hero foundation. Through various trials, you will get tons of credit for it. Let's jump right into this. The battle trial battle. A battle right off the bat. I could see Kaski shaking in front of me while he was having many orgasms. Many orgasms. That fucker is gay. And to go with your first battle, Almight continued. We prepared to gear, and we had sent the required for match and quirks. The class was excited as they were getting wearing their hero gear so early in the season. I was excited. Why wouldn't I be? My costume was personally designed by I and my mother. It held sentimental value to it. I hugged the costume tightly close to my chest, getting changed. We got ready to go. Everyone gathered in the ground. Beta, the grabbing you bring into the battlefield. Why vitality important, the boys and girls. And remember, from here on, you're officially heroes. I have a hard time believing that part. We are officially heroes there. Hero, I officially entered the world. I was always wanted to be a part of it. In the past 10 years, I had developed a personal hate for those who did evil. It all stemmed in front of one incident, the incident which I could never forget. It was 9 when it happened. I was very close to a friend who was also wanted to be a hero just like I. He had a very powerful quirk too, for his future was bright. I consider him to my best friend after falling out with Katsuki. We had a quarrel with Katsuki in the previous day, and my friend was in really bad mood, so we went to separate ways quite early. Even though I wanted to go with him to his home, he denied it, saying he wanted to be alone for some time. I should have gone with him because when I sensed his presence was fading away, not too far away from my location, it was too late for him. I found him in the alleyway, his body half gone, with other half practically decayed. When I looked into his eyes, I could see the last thought he could have, a plea for help, fear, shock. I still see him lying dead in the alleyway in my nightmares. A villain had killed my best friend, and no one knew why. The investigation went into his murder was dead end. The incident pushed me to get stronger. I realized that even if I was there with him, I couldn't have done anything to prevent his death. Moreover, I could have died along with him. I was weak. I vowed that day to never let such thing happen to anyone else if I could prevent it. I read many incidents on the internet. The villain was killed as the villain killed as they please for their own wicked scheme. For someone they caught while they roam freely, spreading terror among who got defended them. So every time my mother walked into the bike cruises, I used to get scared, thinking if she come back, is she gonna come back alive or not? My thinking may be flawed, but I wanted to create a society free of such twisted beings. They were animal who deserves to be caged in prison. I swear that day that I lost my friend, I'll be the ban of the wicked. I'll become the hero who will make those villains tremble in fear. Every murderer or thief would think twice before committing crime. The only safe who would have the person. I got up from my seat and followed my classmate changing room. My hero gear including a black spandex with white strips running down in the side of its arm. The leg and the stylus of the flexible grey color Kilweer vest drawn over it. I had two white color granted, and they covered my forearm and elbows.
On my leg, I had shine guard and keep and kneel pad and red combat boot. I had gas mask made of special alloy covering the lower part of my face. It had gain it ticked over made it look like more intimidating. I wanna show the picture very badly, but fuck it. I guess I'm gonna show you the damn picture. Damn, I'm gonna show you the picture next time. I'm right now don't know what to do. Mm. Fuck this shit. I'm not gonna show you the fucking picture. Just imagine Midoriya's normal hero costume, but it was all in black. And he had many more upgrades. Yes, his arms and other things are protected, so yeah, he has upgrades on them. I got it from him. As I entered the ground, better I could see the variety of costumes in my fellow student were from full body armor to a knight, very revealing costume that left little low to the imagination. Seriously, how was the girl was able to keep straight face among those stairs? Even Katsuki was taking glance at her, huh? And here I used to think he was asexual. Well, I signed a upload to her for fortune nodded toward her, which was she saw. By seeing her expression, I could guess she got. I was trying to convey. That was when a blushing Uraraka, the girl I saved from the entrance, just jumped in front of me and said, "Ah, Midoriya can look cool in the costume. It looked really practical." It was what a word for it. Nice, yeah. It was nice to see her buddy self around. Her personality was quite refreshing. So her costume, I was not a pervert, but he didn't mean I didn't appreciate beauty of the fair sex. Uraka costume was skin tight and highlighted curves very good way. I looked at her and while smiling, not in a creepy way. Thanks, I came up with a design with my mom's help. Your costume is good too, and by the looks of it, you tried to emulate another hero costume, right? Her blushing intensified. She replied with rubbing back of her head. Seems like she did that a lot when she was being complicated. I felt embarrassed. I wish I had drawn my sketch a little better. It would turn out a little puffy. It's embarrassing, and yeah, I wanted to look like 13's costume. She's my favorite hero. I just nod my head and keep an encouraging smile, not wanting to make her feel uncomfortable. A little midget wearing a diaper in a ball, growing his head, balls growing on his head, said something about heroines being the greatest. But I ignored him. He was a damn pervert. There was no need to indulge him. An overly formal voice came to the student wearing full body armor sensei regarding the performance ground we are using. Is this the mock city from the entrance exam? That was Tenny Aida. His costume looked like an engineer. Perhaps he was related to the hero. Their clothes are almost similar too. You see, in fact, take two steps forward and you will see if there will be an indoor battle training trial. Villain clean up unusual scene out in open, but statically, the better part of it was the indoor job. Most acts of villainy are committed indoors. Hauser's black market is a hero's standard society. Why? Any villain intelligent and lurking in the shadows. For the test, you will be separated into heroes and villain group. For two on two team battle. Two on two team battle. We should. Oh, somebody asked the same question. Well, all might answer it. It made sense. Pairing up with someone randomly in the hero business was quite common. He explained to us the rule. Wow, we must be linked or something. Pleased to have you. Ura, yes, the same team as Canon. I decided to go with the flow. Yeah, it must be fated. And wait a moment. নামি তুই একটু সুন্দর দেখতে কি কয় এই যে রুমে একটু আয় sorry I was a little bit on something else. Team A will be the heroes and Team D will be villains. It was I and Oraka versus Kaski and Ida. I glanced at Kaski and found him glaring toward us with anticipation. I couldn't really put at the fault with him. He had never really won against me before. Whatever we got into spars or even fight. Kaski was very competitive person and he lost and even through losing. We went to the building. I looked at Uraka and asked, "Oh, okay, I want to know what your quirk does and we'll plan accordingly." Uraka picked up and replied, "Well, my quirk called zero gravity. Whenever I touch something, I'll get, the weightless, the same shit." That was interesting, quirk. Wow, your quirk is really awesome. You could use it to save people during disaster like earthquake or landslide. There is any weight limit beyond which your quirk doesn't affect. A little frustrated being complicated. No, I haven't found out the limit yet, but I haven't tested on things heavier than a truck. Although for a heavier object, the time I could keep there for zero gravity away to decrease. I looked at the building in front of me and immediately formulated a plan to win. It would be very easy if Husky came after me, but if he went after Uraka, I would have to I have to do something else. Uraka was ready to face with explosive shit brain. As I finished explaining my plan, we heard All Might was in the trial indoor battle start. And before we go to chapter 5, I have a little thing to say. It was one of the incident that happened to me. You see, it was normally a time around. I apparently live in Bangladesh, so yeah, the country is not that good. Not that good considering with the other country, but it's still very good. Now, it was something happened when apparently in my country's way I would call it when I was in uh, seventh standard or something. Yes, when I was in seventh grade, seventh class. What do you call it? It happened when I was in seventh grade. Apparently, I was in a government facility, or apparently this building was controlled by the government or something. Yes, and there was a playground there. Yes, there was a big playground there, and I was always used to go there alone or mostly with my friends or my cousins. One time, I was alone in the house, not alone specifically. I had cousins there, yes, but you know, they were all in their phones, and I was already too bummed out, so I didn't really like mobile them. I really didn't like use my smartphone that time. Apparently because of that, I went outside, go to the playground for a little fresh air. And apparently it was more like 3 p.m. in the evening. Mostly it was not evening just yet, it was still no one there. It was not evening, but still no one was there. The sun was on the high stakes. I just looked at the playground and it was empty as fuck. Yeah, empty as fuck, and I didn't really know what to say. The feeling of death came over me, and I didn't really care about what was it. I feel a little bit scared because at that time I knew about the ghost stories and many paranormal thing happen. So I just decided to push that thought away because I didn't want to be scared. I also did bring my smartphone with me, so I just sat on the swing and started swinging myself. As I was swinging, I was all alone in the park. There was no one really. No one. As I was swinging, as I was singing and also looking at my smartphone and doing, using the normal social media.
That time suddenly I heard a little noise about something was getting dragged. Now I didn't really care. I thought it was the worker there or someone to clean the park or something. So I didn't really care that much, but the dragging sound was getting more and more closer to me each time. I didn't know what was that, but I was getting scared. By the way, it's literally true. It's literally true. All the thing that happened right now, it was all true. I was getting a little scared, so I decided to stop swinging and looked all around me. I didn't saw nothing really. Now there was something apparently the seesaw or what you call, two-person set, and they jump around. I saw it was moving on its own. Now at that time, I didn't know nothing. Nor did I care about anything. I just stopped there. I stopped dead in my tracks as I looked at the swing that were not the swing but seesaw. It was moving on its own. And after a while, they did not stop. But they were still moving on their own. As I saw the swing, apparently there were two swings. So I was sitting on one of them. I was a few distance away from the swing because I felt a little scared. So I went few distance away and then saw that both of the swings were swinging in their own. Now, at that time, my brain started to work and I did not say anything, nor did I do anything. I just fucking ran. Yeah, what are you gonna do in that situation? I just fucking ran. Ran and ran and ran. Just ran literally into my house. And you won't believe what happened. I told my cousins about this and I took them with me. But when I went there, everything stopped. It was like nothing happened and the park was full with kids. Now my question, how the fuck the park was filled with kids once again? Because when I was there was literally no one. They did not believe me, and is anyone about gonna believe me? Because I was the only one that time. I did not even damn try to record it because my brain was stop. My brain did stop working for a while. I was scared. I was scared shitless. Not gonna lie. So after that incident, I never went to the playground. Literally, I always stayed in my home, but still, I couldn't forget that incident. What happened there? So I guess this is one incident that happened to me. It was the real incident of my life. The real incident, real fucking paranormal incident. Nobody believed me, so what can I do? So I decided, nah, not to judge anyone. It has been many years now. It has been many years since that incident happened. I have completely forgotten about it. Forgotten about it, but I remember yesterday. So let's get to the story. Chapter 5. We trekked through the hall in the ground floor, silently moving toward the stairs. I could sense Kaski coming down from the fifth floor, nodding to Urak. I signaled her that Kaski was approaching. We waited for him to turn in the corner. I was ambushed with his quirk, and backhanded the strike on his face. I sent him trembling across the hallway while Uraka took the chance to run up the stair. You haven't learned anything about my quirk, have you, Katsuki? Spitting a small amount of blood, Kasky got up and grinned. Yeah, I kind of forget you could sense surrounding. But it doesn't matter. I'll beat you this time. I'll show you that I'm better than you. You hear me? Ever since you got your quirk, you have been an obstacle in my way to be the top hero. I'll show you that you are just a pebble for me to crush under my feet, Deku. Again with the flaw mentality. It didn't matter if you were able to top hero or just a hero no one knew about. It was no point. What the matter was the principle behind the hero truly was. Katsuki never understood. You'll never beat me for such selfish reason. You'll never be a good hero, Katsuki. I had enough for him and charged toward him, my body entirely covered with argument. Katsuki was always began as his right swing. It was obvious. I didn't even need to use observation.
I ducked under his attack and remanded my head into his abdomen, sending him skated backward as he coughed out small bill. He ignored the pain with an angry shout as he charged at me as he entered into high place ball as he kept sending blasts with every swing in his palm. At my vital point, which I dodged flawlessly. Sometime I really thanked whatever got up there and grind me with this score. Kaski would have turned me into a curted meat by then. Soon we fell into a pattern. I know he was getting frustrated at attack, he was getting more wild. So I didn't want to admit it, Kaski had gotten better than the last time we had ball. He was faster and control over his anger. His attack was sharper, more precise, and more powerful. I could feel the vibration and the blast were gazing at my vest. If Kaski wasn't a jerk, he could have been a great friend and a rival. Then I saw my chance. One of his swing went wider than it was meant to, and I immediately responded with spinning heel kick on his chest, sending rolling into the ground. I didn't want it hurt him a lot. I could see he was in immense pain. Even though I wasn't strong as All Might, my punches and kick packed quite a lot power behind them. If I wanted to, I could break every bone in Katsuki's body without putting much effort. I ran toward his fallen form and quickly bound him with a captured tape. I immediately heard All Might's voice, Bucko Katsuki captured. Katsuki looked at me in his downfall position with blazing anger. I knew he hated it. He hated it when I looked down at him. I always reminded him that there was someone out there who was better than stronger than him. For Katsuki, a hero was someone who always won. He was supposed to win in every single time, so whenever he lost, he think he wasn't good enough to be a hero. But it doesn't matter to me. For me, winning against him had worked wonder for his character, even though he was still a bully. He had a very bad temper. He had mellowed down from what he had years ago. Perhaps he would be improved near future, but it wasn't happening right now. Then I considered a small victory. Perhaps he was beginning to understood that winning didn't matter. That winning was not the define a true hero. I always tried to explain what being a hero meant to me, but he never listened. Perhaps exchanging blows with him could do what the word couldn't. As I walked away from him, Kaski cursed under his breath and undid the tape while preparing to lunge at me. How stupid he lit! He never learned. Without looking back, I blasted him with adequate amount of conqueror's will, making him fall on his butt. I was done with him for the day. From that day, there would be many opportunities for us to fight, but he had to accept his loss. I made my way toward Uraka, who had been hiding near the door from where the fox weapon was located. Ida was making funny poses, and Oath would do the best being a villain. It was quite funny and tried to not laugh not too hard, but Uraka didn't have much control. She giggled. Well, our location was exposed. There was no use in the choice but to attack. I and Uraka rushed into the room while Uraka ran straight to the fox weapon. I engaged Ida and prevent him from going after Uraka. To be honest, Ida was good at close combat. His kick was sharper than his speed was greatly enhanced by his score, but technique was severely lacking. I easily able to disturb the floor while few seconds I pinned him in the floor before he could free himself from my hold. I tried to capture Dave around him. Meanwhile, Uraka managed to touch the weapon by the time. And I subdued Ida. It was a complete victory. Team D captured. The hero team wins. We won, Midoriya-kun. I smiled and clapped my hand with her as Ida did the capture tape as we tried to console him. He was into depressed. Both teams were practically uninjured, with Katsuki suffering from minor bruises on his chest and face. In the observation room, some everyone approached me and gave me a pat on my shoulder. You really are manly, Midoriya. You were like a pro kung fu master. You were really scary, isn't my cape shiny? When everyone calmed down, my addresses. Well, I would say the MVP of the battle trial is Midoriya. There was no dispute in the conclusion. We had won. I played a major role in our victory as the battle trial continued. I kept a close eye on Kaski as he observed how other team won their battle. There was some good battle
some heavy on the side down wasted. But Kasky watches as his ego looked harsh blow. There were students who then I could have defeated him. There were students who were better than him. That was good. It was a positive sign. It showed that he was maturing through it very slowly, but he was. With a quirk like his, Kasky could become very strong here if he applied himself right way. He looked toward where I was stood. Our eye met. He mind momentarily whitened before he turned his head away. Reinforced the skin. I didn't know what was going on in his brain, but the time could tell. Lately, lately that day, I comforted him as a school gate. Kasky, I want to talk to you. He didn't reply, just turned his and looked at me. He had tears in his eyes. I was a little shocked. That was the first time I saw him very vulnerable. I looked in and said, I hope you understood what you've been doing so far wrong. And I wanted to show you up. To be honest, I used to admire you, but I didn't know what went wrong. How you turned out to be like this, but I want to see the same Kasky I used to call friend. If you allow me, I would like to be your rival. Kasky glared at me, replied, rivals are those who are equal in power. Right now, you are stronger than me. But just you wait, I'll get stronger than you. Then a half and half guy. Even the girl with point, I'll show you all. I'll be the great hero, better than you ever could be. Having said his piece, Kasky turned around and stumped out of the school gate. Sighing relief, good, he wasn't broken by his defeat, and he didn't rant about becoming top hero. He was aiming much higher than the top. He was improving. Soon I was joined by Uraka and Ida. We walked together to the subway station. Young Midori, I was worried about young Baku being affected by today's event, but you took care of it. Even though you have some sort of enmity with him, perhaps you are the one. My success or the next symbol of peace. Chapter 6. Should I do more? Mm, I'm going to chapter 6. You can read your own next, right? I need to read more? How about this? I'm gonna read another story. This story is apparently a Marvel story, so I hope you like the Marvel. If you are not shit, I guess you're gonna like the Marvel. 1 hour has already passed, huh? Interesting. The thumbnail is gonna be the same, so there is no change in it. So let's read a Marvel story. This story is called Marvel's A New Magneto. Yes, don't judge me. I'm not reading the story because I like the story a little bit. So yes, let's start reading. Let's chapter 1. Ultimate Nullifier. Eric, are you sure the Infinity Stones are hidden here? There doesn't seem to be anything here. One of the dead gray and a dark black above the moon. Mystique descended into the aircraft, once again doubting Eric's judgment. Eric had habitually stroked his ring on the fairing finger and his left hand under his helmet. His cloudy eyes looked at the surface of the moon. Calmly, Raven, don't be fooled by by appearance, but observation and essential of things. Mystic shrugged. Come on, Eric. This is my job to confuse other. Let go. I don't want to be caught by Charles. Eric shook his head slightly, waving his hand. A strong metallic field protected wrapped around the two of them. The field of ground. They were two of the most proud moves. Not only that it could resist various attacks and consume at cosmic rays, but also the air around him could be imprisoned and trapped in a magnetic field, which allow him to survive briefly in space. Sorry. The two opened the hatch and got off the spaceship. As they flew all the way, they saw it was a wasteland. It made me stick out his judgment again. Just as he was about to speak, Eric suddenly stopped, and as he pointed into the nearby small crater road,
it's there. After all, Eric controlled the magnetic field and landed down. His palm was slightly raised against the ground, and the ground shook slightly. And a hidden hatch was exposed in the ground. Mystic understood her body began to deform, and blink of an eye, she turned into a middle-aged man in a blue uniform, with icon of four in her chest as indicating his identity. Why does it have to be Reed? Can it be Charles? I have lost a lot of energy to get into this Iris. Based on it was built by Reed. Then there was a space only he can open. Eric waved his hat gently and controlled the magnetic field, sent Mystic in front of the hatch. A red light swept across Mystic and hatch slowly opened. The two walked into the base. As a metallic sound, voice came and said, "Mr. Reed, welcome back." Mystic glanced at Eric and said, "Have Charles and Stark have been recently?" Have Charles and Stark been here recently? The record with the last visit of Professor Charles and Mr. Stark was 11 days ago. And what about the other? Mr. Strange have been here once in 7 days. And Mr. Birdgang and Mr. Norm have not been here since the last meeting. Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, and Submarine, plus Professor X and Iron Man, Mr. Fantastic. What the hell is this space? Mystique was puzzled before coming. Eric told her that it was a secret base of Charles and for Mr. Fantastic read and did not introduce it to much detail. Now it seems that the place is definitely not simple as she imagined. These six people are all the top superheroes in the world. They belong to the different forces. Together, their sphere of influence almost radiate to the superheroes of entire Earth. So, what do they want to do? This is the Illuminati. Eric slowly walked into the hexagon hall. His low voice hinted scams. A secret organizer from a few penetration guys exists solved to crisis and threaten the earth and the universe. No one knew the existence of the organization except themselves. How did you know? Mystic asked with confusion. That's what I want to ask too. A light circle suddenly appeared behind them, and Tony Stark came out of his battle suit. Behind him were Professor X and Doctor Strange. Mystique patted her forehead. It seems this plan was like countless previous plans, has played before and started. With a helpless face, she walked toward Eric and with a catwalk. Oh my god, this video must be shown to Susan. His husband, Mr. Fantastic, and Stoic Frankenstein walked the catwalk. The video was projected on the armor. Yes, that's it. Stark shouted excited, quickly clicked on the projection a few times. Cut out the clip Mystic walking into the catwalk, playing and the loop matching the strange music. As made a paragraph read scandal video. Stark, Professor X reminded. Oh well, I don't want to be so no. I just want to ease the atmosphere. Then let's get down to business now. Stark put away the projection and aimed at the common at Eric. Cannon at Eric. Magneto, Eric Lenser. How do you know about the Illuminati? Shouldn't you have first asked the purpose of our coming here? Mystic looked at Professor X with a complicated expression. Infinite Stone, Dr. Strange said as the magic runes appeared in both of his hands, looked at Eric vigilantly. This is obvious. People with an IQ would know that the only thing that can attract the famous Magneto here is the Infinity Stone. Stark said with an arrogant voice. Charles, long time no see. Eric ignored the two, greeted his old friend. Eric. Professor X controlled his wheelchair and walked slowly forward. It's true that we have seen each other for a long time. Since we have drove away to the Nile together, 3 years, shouldn't you appear again? So what are you planning? 3 years, time flies so fast, like blaze, fast, night like it always ships fly away the finger. Uh, Away from my finger, Eric raised his left arm and turned it to show, as there was red blaze.
Eric did as we. Charles, when did we fight Apocalypse? 15 years ago? Or 16 years ago? 50, 60 years ago? It has been 56 years. And we are all old. Professor X eyed slowly become sharper. Then please tell me old friend, what do you want to do with the Infinity Stone? 56 years. Adrian answered as if he knew is still stuck in memory. We defeated Apocalypse together, rebuilt Xavier Genius Academy together, defeated Dark Phoenix together, and drove out the Keels together. Oh yes, we also got river. We also got. We also reversed the future together. Reverse the future? Chelsea and I were impossible. You can remember. Hey, wait. What's going on reversing the future? Did I miss any big event? Stark has suddenly Doctor Strange's face changed. His hand changed. His eye of Akamato, or the time fucking stone, grin covering his eyes as he quickly checked the timeline. And the mistake hiding behind was very curious. Her eye was widening back forth between two. Of course, I remember. Not only do I remember reversing the future, but I also remember the summit of nation, the Golden Gate Bridge. Oh yes, that the kid name was Timmy, right? Professor X didn't answer. He was thinking what went wrong. It stands to reason the only he and Wolverine Logan know. What about reversing the future? The memory was deleted and Eric couldn't have known it. Okay, that chat time is over. Raven, it's time to work. Don't move, Magneto. Stay away from the box. Stark palm cannon become brighter as a battery ready to fire at any time. Don't be nervous, Stark. We all know the Infinite Stones are not here. The news you have released is just pis- pittance. Eric waved his hand, paying no attention to the Stark threat. The Illuminati collected the total of three Infinite Stone. The time gems are in the hands of Doctor Strange. The reality gems are hidden in the core of the sun by you. The mind gems are exiled into the universe by you and Reed. And they even perform infinite random space jump. I have to say, your idea is quite ingenious. Wait, Eric, the time Infinite Stone aren't here. You lied to me. Mystic changed back to her Asian face, but her blue face was of disbelief. Stark, don't you want to know what's inside? Eric didn't answer Mystic, but continued his tempered, Stark like a demon in hell. How many times have you been in this base? Do you know the thing exists? No, you don't. You don't know. Only Reed knows. Don't you want to know what he's hiding from you? I'm not interested in exploring the secret of an old man. Stark said, but his palm lowered slightly. I have to say that Eric is very accurate. Stark is proud genius. He is dissatisfied with Mr. Fantastic, who is smarter than him. But if he is dissatisfied except for mentioning engineering, he almost away overwhelmed by Reed or the science field. Reed is all around genius. How could Stark not could not pay attention to someone who is more talented than him? How could he not be curious about his secret, Eric? What is inside? A weapon to destroy humanity? Eh, Charles knew his friend very well. Charles, I can guarantee that the thing will only use for me, and no one will be hurt, and the future Magneto will become history. What the hell are you doing? Professor frowned deeply. At the time, Doctor Strange closed his eye, Agamotto's eye became clear again. Professor X and Stark looked at him. The time is blocked by a powerful force. I tried many methods, but I couldn't see the future. Doctor Strange glanced at Professor X strangely and said, I can see the past either. Professor X and Stark couldn't help but looked at Eric. Eric hurriedly waved his hand. No, no, no. Isn't me. I don't have that much ability. Raven, open it. The mystic shrugged indifferently, turned into Mr. Fantastic again and entered the fingerprint. Read. Is really a genius. The box is made of the special material that I can sense the existence of the magnetic field at all. Other worlds so curious looked around. They see a lighter like thing lying in the shining. This is a lighter? Stark looked at Eric in the look of a fool. This is not a lighter. This is the ultimate nullifier.
The Illuminati's Big Six. Yes, chapter 2. The ultimate nullifier. What is it? It isn't. This isn't a lighter? Stark seemed to be trapped in the case of lightly, but in fact he was scanning through Jarvis. The result scan came out soon. He couldn't read it. Once again he could see this little thing connected to unimaginably huge amount of energy, and that leaked it could blow entire earth into cosmic dust. That thing is dangerous. Can't let Magneto get it. Can't let Magneto get it. This is the conclusion drawn by Stark, and it was also a decision of Doctor Strange. He is also holder of the Time Stone, and the Sorcerer Supreme favored by Vanishti. His vision also much higher than the Stark. The ultimate nullifier, of course, in you, the one of the top artifact of the universe. Eric, my feeling tells me that the thing is very dangerous. What are you going to do with it? Professor X asks. He doesn't want him to get he want him to get this thing. His mental power has been warning him. The feeling, this is the key, I just want to use it to open a door. Eric replied with a smile, reaching out to grab the ultimate nullifier. No, you can't. Doctor Strange made a first move. Chaotic cosmic necklace was wrapped around in the safe. It was instantly when he pulled it, hand safe came out wall toward Doctor Strange. It isn't up to you. Eric waved his hand, and several steel beam broken out of the wall, wrapped tightly and safely. We were still Doctor Strange. Stark also lunged and attacked. The two palm cannon were fired with the close range. Eric didn't blink as he let an attack. Only could see the palm cannon was blocked by invisible wall. Damn magnetic shield. Stark cursed secretly as he flew into the air to find a flaw. But Eric would not let him. Eric couldn't let him do as he wishes. As he waved a hand, as his Stark flew out like a garbage. Stark wearing a steel armor to deal with me. I really doubt your IQ. Professor X control mistake for the first time, and took her quickly to retreat the safe place, facing Eric, warning a mind control helmet. His ability were little use. In order to prevent himself and Mystique for becoming hostage, he had evacuated quickly as possible. Of course, he was more important than calling reinforcement. Magneto can control the electromagnetic field, and ordinary communication equipment can function without a magneto, but he can. The distance from the moon and the earth is far beyond the limit of his ability, but he has Mr. Fantastic Black technology. Ultra long range, single wire teleporter, but a Bluetooth handset like device can connect members of the Illuminati within the range of the solar system. Eric didn't care about Professor X retreat, which was with him expecting a light. Dr. Strange suddenly conjured a long magic knife and slashed it under the safe. Cut into whether it was the safe or made of material, Mr. Fantastic or Sebastian wrapped around the box. It was indifferent. Eventually, scared sword. You really got a good item. Eric knew Dr. Strange move very well. Dr. Strange saw the move as he quickly recalled incarnation, and his safe as he remaining steel bar and suddenly explode, turning into a butterfly. Dispatching on the ultimate nullifier they left to the fall, Eric waved it to the control and some metal again to take back the ultimate nullifier, and fell straight down. Looking at the scene opposite, the portal should be in a New York temple. Bring it back. Eric stretched out his hand and grabbed it, and a metal round shield. You're annoying me. Stark flew back, being thrown out. Under the mask, his face turned blue as he felt a huge humiliation. Oh, this is your anti-magneto armor? Eric found that Stark has changed his armor. That material, the armor, seemed to be a carbon nanotube, which was completely immune to his ability. On the other side, Doctor Strange opened several portals and submarines. Black Bolt and Mr. Fantastic walked out after another. Six big boss of the Illuminati gathered. You all are finally here, let's start. Eric slowly flew into the ground, looking down at everyone. You are not the only one who can fly here. Norum held a spear, flew up with arrogance in his face. Black Bolt has hat behind his back as a lip was lightly closed. Then he stared back at Magneto in the air. That was a very strong magnetic field around him to give him a few minutes. I can interfere with him. Mr. Fantastic hold a palm size instrument in his hand, keeping debut deguging and temporarily assembling back technology equipment. Ho ho! You don't even know what you're going to face. Eric smiled on as he snapped his finger lightly, and a strong electromagnetic pulse of burst out. Stark armor was not affected by the slightest, but the semi-finished black technology equipped it in Mr. Fantastic hand was not so lucky. And a few wisps of black smoke came out, and it declares capped. Oh no, Mr. Fantastic was startled and hurriedly threw the instrument in his hand, knowing unintentionally the instrument slid a few meters away in the ground and stopped at Eric's feet. Norman Fate trembled was more grumpy. Seeing Eric taking the lead, he threw his spear forcefully in his hand. Eric controlled the metal to get to fly up, blocking the spear at the same time. Sable's steel bar flew out of the wall and rapping at the Sea King, preventing him from moving. Fish from the sea, but still want to boss around when you're on the ground. Eric smiled disbandedly and controlling the steel bar, keep tightening as a seeking on the ground. Ah, Black Bolt suddenly opened his mouth as he inhaled deeply, exhaled a huge energy brought into impact as Eric magnetic shield, knocking the shield shakily. Boom. Without waiting, Eric react. Under his feet, a black technology instrument. Then he thought, had been scabbed suddenly exploded into strange magnetic field, ripped ripple sweep across Eric as her lost control in instant, as he could no longer keep flying as he fell down. Stark, it's now! Mr. Fantastic shouted as Stark immediately fired up to the missile on the ground. So, guys, I have decided it's finished. And